For all your getaway needs, link up Rhythm Works Criminal Extraction Services. Come me a the real getaway driver, you see me? See me as it? See it? Titles. Greetings one and all, this is Rhythm Works and welcome to my channel. Today is some more Grand Theft Auto 5 Coveted mission, the very coveted mission shall I say. And I am flying solo. Reason for that will follow very shortly. But this video is more or less aimed at the lower level players who are trying to find their way throughout the game and what have you. And I must say from the very first point that there is no one size fits all way of playing. I'm just trying to show how I play and how the thing works for me. Now, shooters can be very mind-numbing at times. You know, when you have that waft of COD underneath your nose and you got a gun in your hand, you tend to kind of implement that in a lot of shoot 'em ups as well. And I can understand that with some gamers. But for me, who hasn't been a part of that franchise from its creation, I just have a different take on the whole thing. Now, missions, I love missions because if you play your cards right, you can make some serious money in missions. But the key for me is not to basically, you know, spray all your ammo, to have to basically buy your ammo back again with what you just earned on the job. That doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of time. So for me, I like to do missions in a strategic way. Now, my experience when I go into free mode and I set up missions on my lobby, I tend to go and invite lower level players for the simple reason of trying to help them to level up because they need the help. Higher level players probably know how the game basically works. And especially like the 3-figure level players, I don't know if they've got that shit legit or if they've basically hacked the game. And I just can't waste my time trying to find out. So I don't even deal with those people. But when I go into free mode and I set up my own lobbies, those are the type of gamers that I tend to invite to my lobby. Because at least I'm going to get some kind of gaming action out of them. However, when I do hook up with those kind of players, remember the waft of COD? You know, sometimes they get that and they just want to basically go in the game with that attitude and that mentality. And the first thing that I see is when the mission basically starts, everyone goes in separate cars. I don't understand that. Everyone goes in separate cars. I don't care which car I basically get to, as long as all of us or two sets of us are in the cars. If all of us are gonna basically pick a car and race to the place, it makes no fucking sense because you're just gonna be racing to your death in that respect. And then the job doesn't get done. And then the onus is basically on the rest of us to do what is needed to be done, when we all can go there and just give them a quadruple threat one time and just wipe out the enemy and deal with the matter at hand. Now I understand for low level players that they might not have an understanding of how the game being played in that particular way to achieve the objective. I totally dig it, I got it dug. But Grand Theft Auto is a third-person shooter. It's not a first-person shooter, you know. And you have to work your way around the map in different times of day, night and day. You know, it's not like Call of Duty where it's the same weather on the map all day, every day. You know, there's night blindness that you have to deal with. That's why they're selling things like flashlights on your weapons. They're not basically having that for cosmetic reasons. You know, there are reasons for that. Anyway, so that's one aspect of the mission and the experiences that I go through with that. The second one is quick jobs. Now, quick jobs are a real easy way to make big money, right? Because you find yourself being hooked up with a lot of high level players if you're a low level player, right? Now, there's kind of two trains of thought with that. Sometimes when you go on a quick job and there's high level players and especially crew members in that lobby, they tend to kick you out of their lobby because, you know, at least some will basically say, well, hey bro, I don't know who you are, man, but I'm gonna kick you out the lobby, bro, because, you know, I've got a little private thing going on. And some people won't even say that, but they will kick you out same way. To that I say, when you go into the menu in your lobby at the bottom, I think it's first from the bottom, it has an option called matchmaking, right? If you basically set that to close, you won't have random people coming into your lobby in order for you to have to waste your time to kick people out. It makes no sense. If that's what you basically want to do, then set up your own private lobby. But having said that, certain jobs are not open in free mode lobbies. And I totally get that, you know, but it doesn't make it fair for people to want to go into certain jobs and being kicked all the fucking time because there's other people who wants to do the job by themselves or with their friends or whoever, you know, but it's just swings and roundabouts, I suppose. But it's kind of annoying, you know, but I do give props to the gamers that, you know, allow you to go into their lobby within the quick jobs, knowing full well that some of those jobs are the high paying jobs like this one, Coveted, and you can basically get some good money from that. There's different ways that I deal with those jobs. Sometimes I will just sit in my car and don't do anything. If I see people basically rushing over and running and gunning, I'll just sit in my car and wait because they're basically getting me money and I don't have to fire a single shot. The only sacrifice is that, you know, I might not be able to get 30 grand, but I'll get 17 grand, probably within the space of 5 to 15 minutes. And on average, that's good freaking money when you ain't firing a single shot, you know, because survival takes a whole lot more time depending on the amount of, you know, the level or the skill set of the players in your group. You know, it all depends on that and the amount of ammo that you're spending, you know. So in a situation like quick job modes where you can get 17 grand for just sitting in your car and just not even spectating, just basically going into ammunition, which is another tip. Go into ammunition while you're on one of these missions and buy your ammo from there. Don't buy it from the menu because it's going to cost you more. Go into ammunition, it will cost you probably like around 10, 15, you know, 15% less probably. What's the other thing? Spectating. I don't mind spectating. I don't find spectating a chore as I do with other games. I don't mind spectating because that way you can see how other people play the game and play the mission. And it's nice to watch when you have other gamers or even your friends with the same mindset. So you can learn from what they're doing because you're the one that's dead through whatever, you know, and they're the ones that's still alive. So it kind of pays to spectate and watch them. But what kind of pisses me off is the aforementioned situation where you go into a mission, you know, and this can basically spread across people, high level people, low level people, and indifferent people, you know what I'm saying, where the mission just starts and they get that whiff of COD under their nose and they jump into the car and race to the scene in question and they're the first people to die. And then they have the burden, quote unquote, of having to watch you do the job for them. I had many experiences like that, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. But if they watch you complete the mission, I would even give them a friend request, because those people is like you need to have around you. But when you have a lot of people that basically leaves the lobby because they don't want to watch you doing something, but they expect you to sit on your backside or in your car while they run off to their death, literally. They want you to basically witness them doing shit, but they don't want to be witness to you doing sensible, strategic shit. And that's my issue. And I think at this point I'm gonna die, yeah. So I've more or less kind of gone through half the mission already with both lives intact. So now I can't afford to mess about now. So, you know, the objective is to get the cargo bob, and I know from going into that area that I've got probably like around 2 or 3 enemies to deal with. Let me go back into free mode and cars. People ask me what my favorite cars are in Grand Theft Auto 5. And the answer is not really expected by them, because I think they're basically thinking of all like the supercars, you know, that are available in there. But I tell you, the first car I bought was a Buffalo. And I bought it for the simple fact that it was A, large car, B, a 4-seater car, and C, a car that will basically give me cover in any situation of crossfire. Now, what I find is that a lot of people like to spend off their money getting the fancy cars and shit, but a lot of the fancy cars are low-level cars that will give you not a lot of great cover in a battle situation. So I take that and utilize that as cover. I use my vehicles as cover. I don't just use my vehicles for show to say, well, I've got this. It makes no freaking sense. Everything's got to have a reason and a logic for me buying it. The second car I bought was a Voltic, and I bought the Voltic simply because of the out of court settlement mission, where you basically follow the person and kill him, take the documents, deliver it to Michael's house, Madraso's house. And when I drove the person's car, I'm thinking, shit, this car is the bomb. It's an electric car. It drives like a dream. It cuts through the freaking streets and corners like knife through butter, and you can't hardly hear it. And got that in race yellow, armored the shit out of it, bulletproof wheels and shit. You know, I use that car for speed and getting to places fast. It gives me cover, but not a great deal. But it does the job. For me, it's not all about having a pretty car and then driving to the scene of battle and you're gonna get your ass shot up. The car doesn't mean nothing when you're dead, because you can't drive the shit when you're dead. So that's my cars of choice. What else is there? Yeah, so, you know, for all the, you know, the low level, mid level gamers, you know, I'm just basically doing this video to prove that sometimes if you want a job doing well, you have to do it yourself. Because I've been in this situation with like 3 high level freaking players, right? And they just, like I said, got the waft of cod under their noses and a gun in their hand, and they're running about like headless chickens, want to kill off everything, and they want to stay and kill everybody before they move on to the next thing. It's like, if you don't have to kill nobody and you've got a getaway path, use the getaway path. What's the point? It's sticking around for target practice for your enemies. Get the fuck out of there if you can. You know, so that's more or less my take on the whole mission part of the GTA game. Because for me, I've been in the shoot 'em up thing, you know, very recent. You know, I'm talking like a couple of years. And for me, sometimes it's like, you know, repetitive gunplay and what have you. It can get a bit mind-numbing. I just find it equal to a lobotomy sometimes, when you just run and gun and you run and you gun and you run and you gun and you run and you gun. You know, nothing is sweeter than having a strategy where the enemies don't know what the hell you're doing, man, what your plan of action is. I mean, granted, they all come out and spawn from the same place. You know what certain people are doing, but sometimes, you meet up with players that gives you a whole different aspect of how to play particular missions. Because, no mission is a one-size-fits-all thing, but you find that a lot of people, basically use that particular method or strategy to get through a mission. But it's interesting to see other people's take on it. And it's enjoyable. It's just as enjoyable as well. So that's more or less it, in proving a point that you can do certain things by yourself and you can have a good cooperative gaming experience with other people who have the same mindset. But anyway, that's me done for this video, and as usual, happy gaming, and I will catch you on the next one, and until such time, my God.